Everyone, welcome to the Tio and Tito podcast. We're your hosts, Erik and Leo, and also known as Tio and Tito. And yeah, we're just here to talk about our experiences. Sometimes we'll talk about our faith, but overall, we just want to just share, right? For those that don't know us, Leo and I we're really close friends. We're brothers. Um, I have children who refer to Leo as Tito, and he has kids who refer to me as Tio. So that's how close we are, right? So yeah,
Well, I
and
have a kid who's not
a
quite
kid,
talking yet, but yes, but
his
I
children will
have what
refer to me as Tio.
that is correct. Yes, that is the
Oh, can I
plan.
say children? Children is
You
everyone
you
knows,
can,
right?
yes.
Yes.
Everyone knows, yes, we
Okay.
are expecting a second child.
Number two. Have you said
Right.
if it's a boy or a girl yet publicly?
Yes.
Yes.
Baby
Okay.
boy. Yep.
Hey boy, two boys. Is that
Oh my
exciting?
goodness.
Is that what you wanted?
Well, I would be lying if I say it was. I did we Angel and I did want to have a girl for a second one, but nevertheless, we're excited to have this to have another boy.
Yeah.
That just means we gotta keep trying for another girl.
Does Angel know
Does Angel know what?
that you're gonna keep trying for another one?
Oh yeah, she's in agreement.
Are
Yeah.
you guys legit? You're gonna keep trying until you get a girl?
Okay, that's where we disagree.
Okay.
So she says three. The third one is not a girl. Then we're stopping at, and I'm
Okay.
saying, okay, we'll see.
So my uncle in Mexico, he had one, two, three, four, five girls, and then the
Oh,
sixth one was finally a boy, and then they stopped. But yeah,
dang.
they legit kept trying until they had a boy, and I just found that crazy. Uh, but yeah, for those that don't know me, I have a 3-year-old son, Toby. He's about to turn 4. He's less than a month away from
Whew.
turning 4. It's crazy. And 2 1-year-old twin girls. And yeah, so we hit 3 really quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fun. It's been a crazy ride. When I think I was just as terrified when I found out they were twins as when I found out they were girls, because I was just like, I don't know, you, especially having a boy first. I just kind of got used to the things that I have to do with a boy, right? And then
hmm
when I found out we were having girls, I was like, oh, okay, all right, because there's certain things you're gonna have to relearn, right?
hmm
Yeah, because it's just gonna be different, like it or not, it's gonna be different. But yeah, it's been an experience, but it's been fun, and it's been fun, obviously, going through it with Lily, my wife, but also, I mean, going through all these things with you guys, right?
Yeah.
Like it's been crazy how close we are as families, the Lopez's and the Kiroses, because I think you guys found out that we were pregnant with Toby not too long after we actually met.
Yeah, we found out on our own. Actually, you
Yeah,
guys didn't actually get a chance
we
to
got
tell us.
we got stalked on Instagram.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's crazy. Yeah, like you were saying, I always get my dates mixed up, but what is this? Has to be what, 2018, 2017,
uh, 2018. Yeah.
2018.
So like,
Um, Middle of the year somewhere.
yeah, it had to be like late summer, early fall, around then.
Yeah, yeah. So we were at a young adult event, and uh, Eric and Lily come through. Um, how did you guys find us again? It was
So
you guys
okay,
saw
we
one of our
lived we
posts.
lived in Mira Mesa, so we ended up going there to
Yeah.
Good Shepherd Church. But I legit, I'm not from San Diego, right? So
Mhm.
for those that don't know, I'm not from San Diego. Grew up in Covina, like out in LA area. And when we came to San Diego, Lily's from here, or from Poway, and so she had all her friends, her family, everyone was here, and we were already here for a while. And at one point, I was just like, Lily, we need to go out and make friends, because I mean, you know how it is, like, especially if you get together with like Angel's friends, it's just them talking a lot of the time, right? And I know you guys went to the same high school, and stuff, right?
Mhm.
So you have
Yeah.
yes, you guys like know who each other's talking about, but Lily and I didn't. So then when we would
Mhm.
get together with her friends, they were talking about people that I didn't even know.
Mm,
So half
mhm.
the time I was just like, okay, I I need to make my own friends here. What better way to make friends than through church, right? So
Mhm.
I think we were at mass and I found out, oh, there's this young adult thing they're doing. We're gonna go and make friends. Like legit, that was my plan the whole time.
Very
And
cool, okay.
Lily agreed. We needed more young adult
Very
friends
cool.
in San Diego.
Gotcha. So, yeah, young adult event, it was I think it was an adoration night,
Yeah.
and, Desiree and I were in the foyer of Good Shepherd, and Eric and Lily come approach us, and I'm like, "Desiree, who are these people? Why
These
are they
weirdos.
why why are they approaching us? They're too friendly." And Desiree and I going back and forth. We're like, "You talk to them. No, you talk to them." And then, I think she eventually caved in and, greeted you guys.
Yeah.
Um, so that was cool, didn't think anything of it, we welcomed you guys in, had adoration,
We
and
invited
then
ourselves to Denny's or IHOP with you guys after. You guys like you guys are going to IHOP. We're like, oh yeah, we love IHOP. We'll see you there.
I just remember, like, I mean, I'm good with people, and I refer to myself as a introverted extrovert or a extroverted introvert, one of the 2, one of the combinations, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can get along with people, but, I keep my circle close, and so when you guys had told us you guys are going to dinner with us, we were like, or I was like, "Why?" But, I'm not one to, not invite anyone, so,
Yeah.
nevertheless, long story short, we're so glad that you guys went because we found out so quickly how alike, and how well you fit in our circle of friends.
Yeah.
So thank you for being persistent.
Of course. Yeah, that's really crazy. I remember especially like when we were at IHOP, and then I think a lot of times when we would hang out, it was either going out to like eat somewhere or like playing board games, and we loved
Mhm.
board games. So we're
Yep.
also very competitive, as you grew to know about us.
Mhm.
But in that, I think I remember Desiree mentioning something with me and Lily. We were like bickering about something, and then she laughed because like she was saying that you and Angel kind of would talk about the same things. So yeah, it was funny, and it was cool. It was cool to see a group that close, in and to be able not to just share like liking like a board games and then like culinary stuff and having those similarities, but also to have a shared faith, right? Because
Mhm.
that made it also very easy to be like, hey, what time you guys going to church? And we'll just meet, and it just something that like brings you closer, right? And that was just really cool. It's obviously for me moving from one city to another, it was something familiar, and to be able to see that in a group of friends that were so welcoming and took us in right away, especially once Toby was born, how you guys are always there for us from the very beginning. I remember we were so happy because when we came home from the hospital after Toby was born, the whole house was decorated, and
Mhm.
that was you guys, and it just yeah, you made like that little apartment mirror makes it really feel like a home, and we were welcomed. So yeah, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you've seen Friends or How I Met Your Mother or any show that has like a classic like gathering point scene, that was I feel like that was the apartment,
Yeah, it was a nice
and
centralized location.
yeah, we had young adult events weekly, right?
Hmm.
But we were making an effort to hang out almost like every weekend. I feel like,
There
like
was
you said,
a there was a time
I-
there where we would like see each other like 3 4 days straight. I remember that.
oh man, yeah, those are good times, simpler
Yeah,
times.
yeah. Simple times, just a few years ago too. It's crazy.
Hmm.
But yeah, now here we are.
With kids,
I know.
families. Oh man.
I remember you guys too with Isaiah. Like for the longest time, you guys were trying to have kids, and
Hmm.
obviously we were praying for you guys, and we kind of saw and heard like what you were going through along the way as you confided in us. But just seeing you and Angel be able to get pregnant and then have Isaiah. That was just such a blessing to witness. Obviously, it was
Mhm.
more of a blessing for you, but just to be able to see that happen, like it was so cool because you see it from like wanting this miracle to happen to praying about it and really like actioning it, trying your best to do it, and it's just to see someone like Isaiah who was so desired, like
Mhm.
by the group of friends around them, and then even more so by you guys, like to actually see that come to fruition was so beautiful and it was awesome, awesome to see. And then we were gonna see it again. It's exciting.
Yeah, that God really has a funny way of, you know, what's the saying? You know, to if you you wanna if I'm terrible at this, but is God you wanna tell God a joke, like, tell him your plans or something like I know that's not the exact
Oh
joke,
yeah,
but that's kind of the gist of it, right?
yeah,
So, like Eric, you were saying, Angel and I, we struggled for some time to conceive, and so, when it finally happened, yeah, it was so beautiful, so great. And then, we were not trying to have this second kid, but
yeah,
we thought it would also take time because it took time for the first one. And, in full disclosure, I feel like health wise, we were not quite as where we were when we were trying with Isaiah, and so we thought that would play a factor when trying for a second one. Lo
yeah.
and behold, just what is it? They're gonna be 14 months apart. So what is this? 5, 6 months later, here's a second one along the way. I'm like, all right, we
Yep,
got this. We're ready.
that's awesome.
Bring it on.
Do you guys have a name picked out yet?
No, so I mean, we have ideas. The idea of um, what is it? Using my name because I'm a junior,
Oh,
and
okay.
so I'd like the idea to have my name be carried on by one of my sons, and then Angel's last name or now maiden name Nepomuceno. We also wanted one of our kids to carry that along, so it would
Mm,
be Leopoldo Nepomuceno Lopez,
okay.
and we were like, "Damn, that's long."
It is.
So both Angel and I, we have pretty long names, and so the first thing I think of is when you're in school and you have the bubble sheets,
Yeah.
and you got to bubble your names, and I was always one of the last ones because my name was so long. I'm like,
Uh,
man, poor kid. This kid's gonna have to bubble, and sometimes they wouldn't even
Leopoldo.
have enough bubbles on the bubble sheet to bubble your
Yeah.
name.
I mean, you just call him Junior Leo. L and
Well,
L. Call him L and L. Like,
yes, yes, yeah. Calling them the name is, I think the shortening of the name isn't necessarily the issue. It's there's really no issue at all. It's
yeah.
just the thought of it is a
You
long
think
name,
of
but
all
no,
the
that's
you think of all the little things, right?
yeah,
When
yeah.
like I remember when we were thinking about names for Toby and for the girls, we had to take into consideration how all the names sound in Spanish,
Hmm.
right?
Yep,
Because
yep.
I remember for Toby, we were actually thinking of the name Isaiah at the time, but in Spanish
Mm,
it's Isaías, and Lily
hmm.
does not like that name in Spanish. And I was like, I mean, if we name him Isaiah, I think my family is probably just call him Isaías because that's the translation. Like they might call him
Hmm.
Isaiah, but it would feel weird. It would feel awkward. Whereas for Tobias, it's Tobias, right? It
Hmm.
still sounds the same. So I remember we had that conversation. You just have to think of all those little things, and like the middle names, like who you're gonna name them after. Like yeah,
Hmm.
it's so much to take into consideration sometimes. But yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. Getting to name a kid
Yeah, it's
with the twins. We actually each got to name one of the girls. The
mm,
only agreement was it had to be a flower name, right?
okay.
So I was thinking like Rosa or like just or Rose, things like that. But I actually got the name Iris from the song Iris, right? By the Goo Goo Dolls,
Mm-hmm.
and I really like the name Iris, beautiful flower. And then Lily would not tell me Ivy's name. Even the babies were already born, and she still wouldn't tell me the name. It was only until like the doctor came to like write it in, and she's like, "Okay, it's official. This is her name." But yeah, it took forever.
Do you know why?
Huh?
Do you know why she didn't wanna tell you
I
until
think she was between 2 names. She was still
okay.
between Ivy and Violet.
Okay, so it's more internal conflict than
I
wanting
I think
to
so, but in the
tell
time she
you.
was just teasing me, and I'm right there like, "Okay, first one is named Iris, and second one," and yep, nothing. I mean, you can't argue with her. She had just given birth, so just have to wait. But they were
Yeah.
like baby A and baby B for the longest time.
Yeah, I remember having to fill out Isaiah's, like, birth forms or for the birth certificate for the first time,
Yeah.
and Isaiah is one of the names that you could easily, like, botch it or
Oh,
misspell.
Isaiah? Yeah.
And yes. So I remember, like, writing, like, so carefully on the forms and
Your
having,
hand's
like, triple
shaking.
check and yeah, I'm, like, showing Angel, she's, like, still groggy from giving birth. And she's like, "Yeah, it looks fine." I'm just like, I had to Google it and everything. But yeah, no, it's having kids does something to you, man.
Yeah, it does. It never goes away. Um,
Mhm,
Speaking of that, I did wanna ask you a question that I know we've gone in depth sometimes, but I just think it's important, especially for the sake of like this podcast and what we're trying to do here. Just talk about our experiences with our families. Um, why did you want to be a father like so badly? Because I don't think I've ever met someone that felt that calling maybe as
mhm.
strongly as you did, and obviously we were close, so you were maybe more open about it with us than like other people, but at the same time, like it was something that I felt you guys really wanted, and I knew that you had a calling for that. Where do you think that came from?
I guess, I think about growing up as a kid. Um, my parents split when I was very young. Um, and I was it was 2000 they split up, so I was around 7 or 8 years old. So I took on the father role for my two younger brothers. Um,
Mm,
and I think that sort of kind of shaped me wanting to do this for my own children, my own kids. Um, but along the way as life went on, um, you know, I had the opportunity to live with my grandfather who helped raise us and who helped my mom out. So, God bless him, his soul rest in peace. So he influenced a lot of how he influenced like a lot of our upbringing. Um, and he was just a great man, a great grandfather, a great father to us where a father figure was absent.
mm,
So he kind of filled in the gaps that I couldn't fill in as a big brother slash father to my two younger brothers. Um, as I grew up, I've always been fascinated with children. Whenever there was a kid at a party, whether it's my cousin's kids or whoever's kid it was, I'd always be drawn to them and want to play with them rather than be with the party. I was always the one who's like, let me watch your kid for you. Mind you, I'm like 10, 12 years old, teenager, offering
yeah,
to take this responsibility on. And um, I don't know, just being with them and seeing the joy on their face when I would play with them just brought me so much joy and so much love. Um, and so that really carried on into my relationships.
hmm
Um, and so before I was with Angel, I was in a relationship for 5 years with this woman, and she unfortunately passed away. So there was a gap between me dating Angel from the time my girlfriend at the time passed away, and I remember thinking about priesthood. You know, this was my girlfriend at the time. This was someone who I considered the first love of my life, and so at the time I didn't think there was anyone else for me,
yeah,
and so I thought my only option was well, it's the priesthood. You know,
hmm
and I really prayed on it. I talked to friends, mentors about it, and they were supportive, and as they should be.
yeah,
This is something you would like take seriously. You know. going to the priesthood. Excuse me. But there was always a thought in the back of my mind. Being a priest means you can't have your own kids.
Mm, yeah,
And I was always told, you have your own kids. You have a different kind of
yeah.
kid,
You're like a spiritual father.
a
Yeah.
different set of children, yeah, as a priest. But in my mind, that's that wasn't my calling.
Mm,
And so, you know, my I decided to kind of turn away from that vocation and kind of just focus on myself. And then I rekindled my relationship with Angel because we've known each other since high school.
mhm,
But we kind of drifted after high school. But we came back through the church. Um, and Angel was also someone who had a desire to be a mother, to be a parent. And so that only, that really elevated my want and my desire to be a father and a parent. And it's I think it was always something I wanted since I was so young, and to kind of come from to kind of start with the journey from where I was at to where I am today is it's so crazy to kind of see that come to fruition, like you said earlier. To see something that we want so bad struggle to accomplish it, then to finally be blessed with the gift of Isaiah and now another boy along the way.
mhm.
Um, I don't know if it really answers why, but it's something I've just known
I think you
that
more than
I
answered
wanted
it.
for so long.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome, dude. Yeah, I know you don't tend to speak a lot about your girlfriend, right? That passed away. But yeah, I mean, early on, obviously, I wasn't gonna ask too many questions about that. So that's something that changes you. And but honestly, just seeing your relationship with Angel and like I know it's kind of selfish I think, but I saw a lot of myself in you, a lot of
Mm.
qualities of like me and Lily in your guys' relationship, right? And when we came into your group, we were the only married couple.
Mhm.
Right, but there are
Yeah.
quite a few of you that were dating, and we've been blessed to see you guys get married, and all of you guys have kids, and it's funny because Lily and I say we're just like 1 or 2 years like ahead of you guys, and then we see you guys go through like similar struggles, and we're there to like help, but you guys are always helping us kind of figure our way out too, right? Like along the way, like you guys are always there. So even though we do have our like own relationships that we need to foster, especially being fathers, right? Like we have that special relationship with our wives, with our children. We're also there for one another, right? There's an
Mhm.
aspect of friendship that needs to be there. There's a community, right? A community raises your kids, and I know I've told you, I've told some of the other guys in our group, like Raul and Reggie, like when Toby was first born, I told him I'm blessed to have you guys around, not just as friends, but as role models for my son, right? Of what it
Mhm.
means to be a good man, right? And yeah, so it's awesome to see that, and also to see, I mean, you and all those guys become dads. Like it's really cool.
No, thank you, and likewise, it's the feelings are definitely much reciprocated. When Angel and I were longing to conceive, we were surrounded by children in our circle of friends, which is I think which was almost a double edged sword, but it was more good than anything.
Yeah.
It was never like um it was we never spited. Is that a word?
Yes.
We never spited anyone
Spelt. No.
um of having kids when
Yeah.
we couldn't at the time.
Yeah.
It really having the kids in our group really helped prepare Angel and I to have Isaiah.
Hmm.
We really learned a lot of things, especially from you and Lily, and we're still asking you both questions if it's if not every day, um, you know, uh, probably at least once a week. if even if it's just the little things, but, we feel comfortable doing that because
Yeah,
of this relationship that we've built.
yeah,
So thank you.
yeah. I know. I know you said you guys don't feel spiteful, but when we found out we were having twins and we knew you guys were struggling, and we were just like after the initial shock that we were having twins, Lily and I were like, how are we gonna tell Leo and Angel this? Because like you're over here struggling, and then we're over here having freaking two at a time. And I think Lily said when she told Angel, Angel was like, "I'm happy for you guys, but crap." And
Yeah,
obviously, we can be
yeah,
that honest with one another, right?
yeah,
Because we
yeah.
already knew, we knew you'd be happy for us, but at the same time, we're like, "Damn, they're struggling," and we'll be having twins. And Lily at one point is like, "Can we just give them one?" Like, I was like, "Sure." I don't know how does this work, but yeah, it was just it was interesting to go through that. But yeah, it was awesome to when we heard the good news about you guys too.
Yeah, and
Um,
God's time and God's plan, just it's really trusting in Him, and that's what we did. And a lot of good and love came out of it.
yeah, definitely. It's interesting to hear your story because with me and Lily, it was a little different because I always wanted to be a dad, right?
Hmm.
And I knew that from early on. I went through the whole thing. I think when every man that is like involved in the church somehow at some point is told, "Oh, you'd make a good priest,"
Oh my
right?
God! Yes,
And I
yes.
remember hearing that when I was young, and I was like, "No, no, this isn't for me." I even went to like a couple days to seminary in Italy and like lived with them for like a week, and it was just like, nah, this isn't for me. But at the same time, I kind of felt what you did of like I enjoyed being around kids, right? Like
Hmm.
even even like as soon as I finished high school, I went back to church to work with the youth and help out
Yes.
however I could, and just and even to this day, I still work with the youth. I still love that, uh, and being able to just help and guide them. But it is really interesting when I was dating Lily because Lily doesn't necessarily have, or she didn't have that like same calling to be a mother, right? I think she definitely had the calling to be like a wife, to find like a God fearing man and things like that. But it was definitely a conversation we had while we were dating, because she would always say like she knew I wanted kids,
Yeah.
and she knew like for me, like if we're gonna get married, I want kids, and that's one of the things, like conditions for me marrying someone.
Mm.
And I think she loved me enough, and not just, no, she loved me, and she also knew that in the sacrament of marriage, this is kind of the agreement, right? That you're open to whatever children God may have in store for you.
Yeah.
And obviously you go through all the marriage prep and all that. And she agreed to that. I would always say I wanted 5 kids. I want a basketball team. I still say it just to scare her a little, but we're good at 3 for now. It's a lot. But and even then it's been awesome seeing how much she loves our children. Like she'll say that she's not really like the motherly type, and I tend to kind of be the one that has more of those instincts with the
Hmm.
kids,
Yeah.
and she's the one that's like more stern and stuff like that. But even then, I'm like, she has it right. She I can see how much she loves our children,
Hmm.
how much she sacrifices for them, and and all that. So it's awesome to see her grow in that aspect too. So
Hmm.
I mean, and just coming from a different mindset, right? Like she fully understood that this is something that she grew to love, right?
Hmm.
And it's been really cool. It's been really cool seeing that. And yeah, just myself coming from that like place of wanting to have children to it kind of being contagious and attaching to her, and I would always talk about like how awesome it would be to have kids and what I would love to do, and
Yeah.
yeah, so it's yeah, it's awesome to see, and just to see from where I came from too, because my my dad was, I mean, my dad has always been there for me, right?
Mhm,
Do I agree with how he parented me? Maybe not, but
mhm,
I mean, him coming from Costa Rica, my mom from Mexico, they're gonna have different styles, right, of
yeah,
parenting. Even just seeing like how my parents raised me to how like Lily's mom raised her,
mhm,
that it's just so night and day. And then somehow having to like figure out how to mesh the two together and raise our kids, it's just next
mhm.
level. So it's especially with so many like ways of parenting now and access to so
Yeah,
much information, it's like, okay, we what are we trying today kind of thing. And
right.
then and then I when we leave the kids with my parents, or I'll hear my mom tell me, oh, you should try this with your kid, you should do this. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, we can get into that stuff some other time. But yeah, it's just coming from different backgrounds, and then just having your own family, and making those decisions. And I'm loving it, man. And
Yes.
yeah, because I'm living at I'm working at home, so I'm able to see the kids more. I'll randomly take breaks, go down there, and just hang out with the girls, or play video games with Toby real quick. Just do random stuff around the house with them too. It's like, yeah, I'm just so blessed and to be able to spend this much time with them and really enjoy them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And you
fun.
wanna talk about close, Eric and I work for the same company.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I referred him so.
Yeah,
Yeah, we even
that
work for the
that
same company. We're both out here, San Diego. Yeah, we've had what, two days where we legit like worked together. Where you guys came over and we
yeah,
worked from here. Yeah,
yeah.
so
No, it's good stuff, man. This job couldn't have come at a better time. You know, I
mm,
transitioned right at the end of my paternity leave with Isaiah, and just the thought of having to report back on site was so daunting. And you know, I did have to report back for my last 2 weeks, and man, those 2 weeks I was just miserable. Always texting Angel, "Hey, send me pictures, send me videos of Isaiah."
yeah,
And now I get to be home and I'm watching him crawl and stand on the couch and on the table. You
yeah,
know, I'll get to witness his milestones. And oh man, life is good. God is
yeah,
good.
yep. I know when Toby was born, I wasn't at a fully remote job yet. Luckily, my
Mm,
company had found us a customer that was in San Diego, so I didn't have to fly like I usually did,
mhm,
being a consultant at the time. And I think for the first year of Toby's life, I had, I don't know how to say this without sounding too privileged. I had like a normal 9 to 5 job, right, where I wasn't home,
mm,
and I, I mean, I hated it.
mm,
The job was fine. The work, sure, a little stressful, but no more than like any other job would be. But I just wanted to be at home with them, right?
mm,
And I felt like I was missing so much. And then at one point, they had me driving out to like LA and having to stay there for the week and come back. I'm like, now I'm missing even more time with my son.
yeah,
So that's when, luckily, a friend of mine who worked at this company started reaching out, says fully remote, we can do this stuff. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to apply because a fully remote job sounds great. And luckily, I got it a couple months before COVID happened, which is crazy to think. I got a full time work from home job right before COVID. So yeah, it's funny how things work out. And yeah, and then now obviously we're blessed with 3 kids, not just the one, that I'm able to be here for, like, for the little things that you never know, right? In case of emergency,
mhm,
especially with how sick my kids get all the time. It's like you have to randomly take them to the hospital, or to the doctors at least, and it's just like, all right, what's happening this week?
yeah.
And
And you
not
know,
just
it's
that, but being able to like pick my kids up from daycare, right?
yeah,
Like they go
yep,
to the school, and they're there till 3 o'clock, and I'm able to go and pick them up. And if I still have work to do, I'll just do it after they go to sleep at night. Like
yeah,
I'm able to give them their time, and spend time with them, and yeah, so it's been really cool. Um, to be able to experience that from home. And experience that
Yeah.
all with you, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, we talk about a lot of our struggles and shortcomings, and I think I can safely say for both of us, it's never changed our viewpoint or desire to be a father, to be parents, to be good parents.
Oh yeah. No.
Um, if anything, it's only made us want to become better parents and, you know,
And have more
better
kids.
husbands and have more kids. Yeah, that you and I are definitely on the same boat, and we're like,
Oh man.
basketball
I,
team."
I can just hear Lily and Angel listening to this,
Yeah,
talking to us. All right, we'll see.
they're gonna text each other right now.
I know, right? But yeah, yeah, man, I'm excited for this podcast. I'm excited to share and just have fun, man. I've always said I've wanted to do this just to share what I'm passionate about, and not just like a passion, because obviously I have passions for other things. I have passions for like music and like gaming and stuff like that. But this is a purpose, right?
Mhm.
And to be able to share my purpose, share it with you and share it with anyone else who's willing to listen and
Yeah.
just join us along for the ride.
And the
I'm
beauty of it is, man, we get to take all our different passions, whether it's music, superhero, sports,
super.
video games, food,
Yes.
and it's all relatable to, being parents, being
Yeah.
fathers, having kids, not having kids,
That's
it's
true.
it's gonna be a good time, man. So
Yep.
thank you for thinking of me when you thought of this idea.
Of course, man. Of course. All right. I think that wraps up episode one. I hope you guys join us along for this ride. We're really excited. Um, yeah. Thanks, everyone. God bless.
Thank you.